Television. Well, whether you're in the market for your first time new home or whether you're upsizing for your family to another bigger home, definitely mortgage is something that you need to be considering. It's a huge part of the process. In the weeks be tackling a variety of different topics regarding mortgages and kind of mortgage makeover, so to speak. We're going to start by what exactly a mortgage broker does, and we asked you what you thought the actual role of a mortgage broker was, and here's what you said.
If I really think about it, I guess, no, I don't.
You know, I don't think I do, actually. No.
You know who has to pay for them?
I would think the homeowner would have to pay for them.
I guess the purchaser. I would think. You're hiring their services.
All right, so a little bit of confusion out there when we hit the streets, and maybe not surprising for some, but definitely something that we want to help out and talk about this morning. Joining us is mortgage expert Brent Parnell. Thank you for coming. Are you surprised at how many people didn't know exactly what a mortgage broker was? Because I was surprised.
Well, you know what, Heather, not totally surprised. I mean, I know mortgage brokers are a relatively new phenomenon to Canada here, but in the years, they've grown, and more people every day are using a mortgage broker.
Yeah.
To answer your question, what is a mortgage broker? A mortgage broker basically is a mortgage specialist who acts as an intermediate between a lender and a borrower, helping that borrower find the mortgage product that's going to work best for them.
Okay, so in layman's terms, your job is to go out and find the best deal for somebody who's looking for a mortgage.
Exactly.
Okay, good to
exactly.
know. Now, you had mentioned some numbers when we were talking about stats, and I think you mentioned nationally 44% of people use mortgage brokers?
44% of new home buyers are using a mortgage broker right now, and about 1 in 3 Canadians are using a mortgage broker for their next mortgage.
Okay, and compare that to Winnipeg numbers, though.
Well, we don't have the official numbers in Winnipeg, but it definitely is a bit lower, probably more in that 10 to 15% range, and you can probably see by the answers to the questions before, a lot of people just don't understand what a mortgage broker does and some of the benefits to the service.
Okay, so that's definitely something that we have to keep in mind is, for Winnipeg, it's definitely something that's newer, but you said that it's starting to grow a little bit, and the benefits are finding the best deal. What are some of the misconceptions out there? Because I asked a couple of the folks, do you know who pays for one?
Sure.
And the answer I got was, well, the consumer, the homeowner.
Sure, I think that's the biggest misconception out there is who actually pays for that service. And in fact, the way the mortgage broker works is they have relationships with dozens of different lenders around Canada, and the mortgage broker's job is to keep up to date of what that lender is offering in terms of rates and products and benefits to their client. At the end of the day, whatever lender that the client and the broker decide to go with, that lender pays the mortgage broker a referral fee or a finder's fee for their service. So there's absolutely no cost most of the time for the client. And I say most of the time because in instances where the client has bad credit or poor credit, there may be a small fee that the broker will charge.
Okay, fair enough. What happens if they go out of business? Because we were talking about that being another misconception.
Exactly. That's the other question I get, Heather, with clients is, I may or may not have heard of this lender before. What happens if that lender doesn't exist? And, the easy answer would be, well, if you owe somebody money and that lender doesn't exist, you don't owe the money anymore. But that's not the reality. Generally, what will happen is another institution will come along, pick up that contract, and then upon renewal, that borrower will have the chance to either renew with the new institution or transfer it somewhere else, whatever they see fit. And a lot of people don't know this, but most of the lenders that mortgage brokers deal with are the big banks or large independent financial institutions as well.
Okay. When you're looking for a mortgage broker, what are some of the things that you need to keep in mind? I wouldn't know what to look for. I wouldn't know what to ask. What are your recommendations?
You know what? I would look in Manitoba right now for individuals involved with CAMP, which is the Canadian Association of Accredited Mortgage Professionals. Right now, the Securities Commission in Manitoba has drafted a Mortgage Broker Act, and they're working out the regulations right now.
Okay.
And so until that time comes that we're a little bit clearer on who is licensed and who isn't, I would say check for mortgage brokers who are members of CAMP right now.
Okay, are there any people who shouldn't? I mean, I know you're a mortgage broker, but honestly, is there anyone that maybe this would not apply properly? Are there any downfalls? Who shouldn't use one?
Well, I think using a mortgage broker is a good option for almost everybody. At the end of the day, if a client is locked into an existing term with an existing bank, and it doesn't make sense based on maybe a high penalty to transfer somewhere else, then obviously the mortgage broker should be giving that client that advice that at the end of the day, go back to their bank, renegotiate, and maybe upon renewal the broker can shop it around. And at the end of the day, it is a good idea for people to check out their options. The big benefit of the mortgage broker these days is they have access to dozens of different lenders, a bunch of different options. So rather than the consumer going from bank to bank or to credit union, the broker can do all that for them. And at the end of the day, the broker is the one who handles mortgages on a daily basis, so they're going to have a good idea of what product's going to fit best for their clients.
Okay, fair enough. So when you are dealing, you mentioned that Winnipeg numbers a little different than the national numbers, where more folks seem to be using one. Who is your biggest market, would you say? Is it first-time homeowners?
Yeah, I would think so, and probably the reason today it's first-time home buyers. There's some real excessive penalties for an existing mortgage person to transfer their mortgage somewhere else. So a lot of times it may not make sense to break your existing mortgage and take a new mortgage with another institution. But again, talk to a professional, talk to a mortgage broker who knows these answers, and they can give you some good advice, whether it makes sense to use a broker or not. But for first-time home buyers who don't have an existing mortgage, it makes all the sense in the world to use a broker.
Okay, good stuff. Brent Parnell, mortgage expert, clearing up the initial question a lot of folks asked, which was, why do I need a mortgage broker? So thank you so much.